Hey everyone, before we dive in, I need you to really hear this. We are not living in the same Bitcoin's market you grew up with. The game has shifted underneath us. The players have changed. And if you're still thinking about Bitcoins the way you did 5 years or 10 years ago, you're already behind. This isn't 2017. It's not 2021. That old 4 year rhythm we all used to rely on, it's breaking apart. And a new system is forming right in front of us. Because if you're still thinking this is the same 4 year cycle from 2013, 2017, and 2021, you're playing the wrong game. The wild casino days of crypto are fading. The crazy hype era where retailers could shove a meme coin to the moon on a pure emotion, that window is closing. For a long time, retail controls the narrative. Retail controls the 4 years cycle. People aped into altcoins, chased whatever was flashing green on the screen. That was the old game. Today, the suits are here. Institutions, governments, big banks, family offices, they stepped into the field, and once they showed up, they don't play by the same rules as the little guy. So let's talk about what actually changing. Who's moving the pieces and why Bitcoin sit right at the center of this whole thing. Because from where I'm sitting, it looks like this. The hype era is dying. The control is shifting. And a new monetary system is being built right in front of us. And most people don't see it. We got a new administration that is openly playing with tariffs, with debt, with stimulus, and with digital rails in a ways that we have never seen before. You've got this whole narrative around Trump's circle, the financial guys around him, and this idea of building a new kind of dollar system, a system where stablecoin, banks, and crypto rails blends together. You hear names like Howard Lutnick, Cantor Fitzgerald, Ted Custody, Bo Hines, Steve Witkoff, USDA, World Liberty Financial. Whether every details of that story is perfect or not, the bigger picture is what's matter. Powerful peoples are lining up around digital dollars and digital assets. Think about it for a second. While most people are still arguing in the comments about whether Bitcoin is going to 60 or 200,000 per coin, the people in charge are quietly designing the plumbing for the next financial era, a world where monies move 24/7, border matter less, and digital assets sit at the center of trade, savings, and settlement. At the same time, you've got tariffs shaking global trade. You got the October 10, 2025 crash still burned into people's memories, and you got regular investor emotionally exhausted. That's not an accident. When prices web shows like that, most people don't think clearly. They panic sell bottoms, chase top, and swear off the market right before it's the next big move. Meanwhile, behind the scenes, something else is happening. Now let's zoom out to the bigger macro pictures for a second. We're sitting in a system where inflation has been eating away at purchasing power. Debt to incomes is stretched. Governments keep reaching for the same tool: more liquidity, more stimulus, more creative ways to extend and pretend. You're hearing about 50 years mortgages, right? You're hearing about stimulus checks. You're seeing talks of rate cuts and soft landing, while the real economy feels anything but soft. What does that tell you? It tells you the system doesn't really know how to function without constant juice. Every time things slow down, the answer is the same: print, borrow, stretch the timeline, and push the problem into the future. Now, blend that with another trend, the rise of stablecoin. We're watching the dollar slowly move from paper and banks accounts into digital tokens, USDT, USDC, and all of the new ones lining up. That's not an accident either. That's a way to keep the dollars alive in a world that clearly is shifting toward digital money. So in one side, you got a dollars being debased, more unit chasing the same amounts of real stuff. On the other side, you got hard, fixed supply asset. And at the top of that list, Bitcoin, the hardest, rarest digital asset humanity has ever seen. Keep in mind, I'm not a financial advisor, and this is not financial advice. What I'm doing here is walking you through the logic of what's happening so you can decide how you want to position yourself. There's also this idea is floating around, and honestly, it makes a lot of sense. Banks and institutions are not fully in Bitcoins yet. Sure, we got ETF, we got big names with allocation, but for the really deep money, the kinds of capital that can move continents, this is still early, my friend. And if you're one of those players, do you want to buy Bitcoins at peak FOMO? Or do you want to buy it after you shake it out as many weak hands as possible? That's the part most people don't like to hear, because it implies something brutal. More crashes, more sudden sell-offs, more moment where it feels like this time it's over. Right before demands quietly soak up cheap supply. That's how the games always worked. Elites wait for retail hype. They sell into it. Then they help triggers the panic on the way down. They buy your fear. And then they sell your greed. Over and over and over. That's not conspiracy, guys. That's just how markets work when you mix human emotion with big money and leverage. And here's where it gets even more interesting when you compare it to history. Look back at the 1920 margin got popular. Everybody was leveraged. Stocks only went one way, up, until they didn't. From 1920 to 1929, it feels like a never-ending party. Then the music stopped, and the pain was historic. We're seeing echoes of that same behaviors today. Too much leverage, too much confidence, too many people thinking this time is different because now we have AI or ETF or some new acronym. But the pattern rhymes. Leverage up, hype up. Then brutal reset. Only this time, it's not just stocks. It's crypto. It's bonds. It's housing. It's the whole structures of money itself. And here's the twist. The very people designing stimulus, tariffs, and new digital rails are the same class of people quietly buying hard assets. Ask yourself, why are the wealthy stacking gold? Why are they stacking silver? Why are they stacking Bitcoin? The scarce assets with a fixed supply of 21 million that keeps getting harder to mine and easier to adopt? They're not doing that for fun. They're doing it because they know how this movie ends. When you debase a currency long enough, when you prop up a system with constant stimulus, when you push people into debt just to survive, eventually the value migrates. It leaves weak asset, it leaves inflationary units, and it flows into whatever the market trusts as a long-term store of value. Right now, the list is short. Some people choose real estate, some choose gold and silver, but more and more, the sharpest minds are quietly choosing Bitcoin because it's programmable, borderless, verifiable, and absolutely captive. Bitcoin is the hardest, rarest asset in the game. And this is where I want you to really think about your role in this whole shift. For decades, the wealthy have played a different game. Believe me or not, they don't hate you. They just operate with better tools, better information, and better patience. They happily let you speculate on the surface level, chase meme coins, chase top, panic dips, while they accumulate the real thing in the background. If they can't stop you from reaching for freedom, guess what? They at least tries to reduce how much of that freedoms you actually hold. Because here's the uncomfortable truth. If you don't own Bitcoin now, while things are still volatile and noisy, the plan is simple. You'll probably end up working for Bitcoin or Satoshis later, not in a dystopian way, just in practical economic way. Your time, your labor, your skill traded for a slice of that hardest assets that early accumulators already holds in size. I don't say that to scare you. I say that to wake you up. We're heading into a period, 2026-2027, where I believe things are going to feel very strange. On the surface, you might see a booming economy, record stocks, AI investment exploding, new jobs, shiny narratives about the future. Underneath, you still have debt stacked to the ceiling, inflation still eroding purchasing power, stimulus and easy credit quietly keeping the system alive. The cocktail almost always create bubbles. And bubbles always do the same thing. They make the prepared wealthy. They make the unprepared emotional. So where does that leave someone like you and I? Simple, but not easy. Own assets or get left behind. Stop trying to out-leverage the system. Stop trying to time every tick in the chart. Focus on stacking what you can consistently without blowing yourself up. You don't need to chase 100x. You don't need to hit the exact top. You don't need to be a genius. You just need to survive the volatility. You need to understand the game the elites are playing. Not copy the leverage, but copy the patience. And you need to quietly accumulate the hardest asset at a pace that doesn't wreck your real life. If this kind of breakdown helps you see the bigger picture, do me a favor, hit like, drop a comment, and subscribe so we can keep having these conversations as the story unfolds. I want you to think clearly while everyone else is panicking over the noise. The future belongs to those who pay attention early, and you're one of them. Stack with purpose. And with that being said, don't forget to hold it tight and stack it right. All right, guys. Later, everyone. Take care.